Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday talking our favorite topic. And, of course, you know it's just a couple weeks till it's football time in East Tennessee. I know it has nothing to do with real estate, but if you're involved for life and, you're here local and, it's football time. We've been waiting all year, and it's right around the corner, so we're excited about that. Real estate mode is in full force for the rest of the year. We're seeing a big pickup this week. A lot of things going on in the housing market. Kiddos back to school. So much going on. And a great edition of Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for staying tuned. And thank you for joining. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Ryan Coleman, owner, founder of Hometown Realty. We do this little show called Real Estate with Ryan. We talk about the East Tennessee housing market. What's going on in your backyard? What's the feds doing? How is it housing doing across the country? Anything new in the area? Buying, selling, investing, we cover it all. We try to have a little fun with it. So, and of course, we always talk about our Vols. We love our Vols. So go Big Orange. All right, so if you're listening to this show for the first time, maybe you can catch us on a lot of our partners, social media. We got X, Instagram, YouTube, of course, Facebook. Facebook's still out there, right? And then, of course, our partners, News Talk, 98.7, 1 o'clock every Saturday, Real Estate with Ryan. Then Talk Radio, 92.3 FM, AM 760. You can also see us streaming live on their Facebook channel. So a lot of ways to watch Real Estate with Ryan. And in case you miss us, we got the iTunes, Spotify, all that, covering the real estate news. I've got a really good show for you, news topics that I think that are important. We'll talk about the condo market, kind of have some changes in August that are affecting housing affordability, how it could affect condos in East Tennessee. We'll talk about Knox County planning, a little bit of zoning change on rural land across the market there and kind of how that could be changing and things you need to do by the end of August. And then talk about the interest rates market and housing and what we project moving forward, some ideas and where we see the first and second quarter of 2027. It's hard to believe, 2027. It is that time of the year. A lot going on. Seeing a lot of pickup here the last recent week. A lot of larger properties, a couple of things over $1 million we're seeing pickups. Good to see that. Affordable housing is still number one factor in East Tennessee right now. I don't care what you're talking about. But before we get into the show, let's talk about our congrats, new listings, take care of our great clients, and then we'll get into the show. So we got new listings here. New listing on 1421 Highway 139 in Dandridge. We got some lots that the builder has put up, some build-to-suit opportunities there, so make sure you check those out. New listing on 1245 Paint Rock Road, over 70 acres farm, working farm, horses, goats, all kinds of animals. Had a chance to go out there and meet with the seller. She's moving back closer to home. Endless possibilities, additional home site on the property, no restrictions, so make sure you check that property out. I've got a showing right off the gate, won't last long there. New listing on Loveday Place out in Kodak coming soon. And then we got another building lot in Reinhardt Road, over 5 acres in Dandridge. Check that out. 559 Maury Road. This beautiful home was on the market in less than a week and gone. Congrats to Maury Road going under contract. And then 3201 Roanoke Circle back under contract. That's a journey for my sellers, and glad to get that closed and here in the next couple weeks. So congrats to our great sellers on 541 Big Springs Drive. And then Wagon Hitch Road in Farragut. Congrats to our buyers on a long journey from out of state. So congrats to them. All right, let's talk about what we want to dive into. A little bit of mixture of what we're talking about. Let's talk about the condo market and how affordable housing. I think it's so important to really focus on that. And how on August 3rd, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac has adjustments to the housing market that could affect not only just our area, but condos and affordable housing across the U.S. So one of the least things you want to have working against you is condo market. The condos are not just 4 walls and a door. There's more to it than that. And so now the condos may be getting more difficult to finance. So usually in the market now, we say we have interest rates, Ryan. We have a lot of things going on in the housing market. Condos are great opportunities. We've sold a lot of them. We have a lot of them listed. But the opportunity now, trending back to 2021, I think we've seen that across insurance cost. If you've following the Florida market a little bit, what's going on in Florida is just the insurance has just been outrageous. And a lot of that stems back to the Surfside collapse of the buildings in Miami, where 98 people lost their life, unfortunately, and all that happened. But now we're affecting the codes and the strict building requirements, and all that has kind of trickled across the insurance for a lot of condos, and not just condos, but single families as well across Florida and across the U.S. I know our insurances went up on several properties, so I'm sure you're seeing the same trend, right? Everything goes up, everything gets more expensive, paychecks still stay the same. So that's kind of the trend, what we're seeing. But it's important to know this because on August 3rd, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the big conventional lenders across the U.S. They do all of your financing for anything conventional, non-government, but they set the regulations. So what would happen is we just sold a condo here recently, Grandview, out there in a beautiful brand new construction area. But there's a streamlined process to get condos approved. So that being said, it got delayed a little bit. I'm not sure if these new rules were coming in. Condo complex is amazing, by the way. Make sure you check out our only last unit out in Grandview Court. Waterfront views, beautiful out there. And but it was a Fannie Mae loan, so I can reference this, and it just recently happened. And so a Fannie Mae loan, they go through the contract review. Well, the lender was a little behind, a little slow with what was going on, but it all comes into play with how lenders are looking at units now. So now as a buyer, as we have interest rates and things going on, not only do we have enough challenges in the marketplace now, but now the buyers or lenders, let me rephrase that, lenders may be looking more than just you if you're purchasing a condo. They may be looking more at the building itself, the structure, and a lot of things that they're looking closer now more than ever is finances of the actual complex. Are they holding reserves? Do they have the appropriate repairs and maintenance done on the condo complex? So these three things are very big that we're looking forward and looking at. Lenders are looking at that more. So if you're going under contract, or if you're looking to purchase a condo, make sure you're checking that property out. Make sure we have the reserves and certain requirements, because some of the concern is that Fannie and Freddie sets the guidelines for most all the lending across the U.S. That being said, if you're in a secondary market or a local bank like our good guys Home Federal or some of these guys around here, their community bank, they still hold some of the, we call it paper or the mortgages themselves. But that being said, our credit unions, things like that, or your private bank, if the guidelines from the big boys, Fannie and Freddie, change, that could trickle down to a lot of the other lenders, and that could change your affordability, maybe the qualifications for that property. More importantly, they may require a larger down payment, or they may not qualify financing at all because it doesn't meet the maintenance process. So keep in mind, if you're thinking about buying or selling a condo, make sure you get with a great agent, number one. Number two, if we can help you any way in East Tennessee, we're always here to help you. But make sure you go in front and get the condo docs, make sure they got the proper reserves, really do a little bit more investigation into the condos, because now more than ever on August 3rd, these rules are being changed. There's rules in the government that they're talking about with FHA, Fannie, Freddie, even though Fannie and Freddie are not government yet, or maybe they're talking about possibly purchasing. But right now, there's discussions about delaying this. As of now, it's went into effect. So keep that in mind. Could affect inventory. Could affect sales going forward. If you're thinking about buying or selling a condo, make sure you do your due diligence on the front end. I think that's so important. We got a little bit before we got the break, but we want to talk about, kind of remind you as we go into the second half, we're going to talk about the Knox County zoning proposed amendment. We're talking about rural land, agricultural land, our farmland. If you're like us, we live in Hardin Valley, out in that area, it seems like that land is going quickly and may not be any left. So a lot of people with the beautiful farmland, those are so important to preserve our farmland in Knox County. But there is some zoning and planning that's coming on. We'll talk about that more in the second half, that they have to act by the end of August. So We're talking about agricultural zoning specifically, all right? And so a lot of your land that's zoned agricultural, now they're going to change that zoning to AP or AR. So agricultural preservation zoning district or agricultural rural zoning district. So those are two options that the Knox County is planning to do. We got a few minutes before the break. We'll talk more about this on the second half on the Knox County Planning and Zoning. We'll be right back.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, back at it, second half, Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be back with you. Got an exciting topic, a lot of news, a lot of things going on. Hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. Busy week, getting the kids back to school. Some started, some are starting next week. It's hard to believe. Got my little ones, one's being a middle schooler for the first time, and the other one's going into first grade. It's just hard to believe. They're getting so big. Pretty sure that my oldest was over-towering her mother. I'm pretty sure she's got her by an inch. So, I mean, they're just growing so big and time's going so quick. So, hard to believe, but we're back at it. That's how quick it is. Doesn't it seem like guys do? I know we're off topic a little bit, but doesn't it seem like the school each year, each month, each week, the kids used to get out of school and then they'd have a whole summer, and now the summer seems so compressed that the summer seems like it's weeks, and it's camp, then we're vacation, and we're back at it. I think Alcoa or Maryville, they went end of July. I don't know. I'm not ready for it. I need more vacation time. I'm old school. We used to go to school and get out, I want to say, right after Labor Day. So we'd go back in Labor Day. So I kind of like those days. What's your thoughts on that? Just a thought. If you got kids like I do, as long as we can have them at the house, the better. They're growing up so quick. All right, we're talking about a lot, but before we get going, we want to get into our 60-second vol update. We'll make it quick, but it's big. Drum roll, please. It's just a couple weeks before football time in East Tennessee. You guys been waiting. I know we've been waiting, and it's here. Nobody really knows who's going to be the quarterback this year, but it doesn't matter. We have an amazing team, an amazing group. Guys been putting in a lot of work. I see a lot of footage, a lot of film. I think we're going to be exciting. Our first home game, Tennessee, Furman Padlands. This should be a good one. Should be a good tune-up. September 5th, 3:30, Neyland. You want to be there? We've got you covered. Nothing's changed. Hometown Realty, now more than ever. You've listened all year. Now you need to like, share, and subscribe our page. Make sure you get on there today. Follow our page because we're going to send 2 lucky groups to the teams, to the game. As always, every year, all you have to do is like, share, and follow. Costs nothing, man. We like to do it courtesy of Hometown Realty. And keep a watch out. We got a new commercial coming out. Can't tell you who it is yet, but you're going to like it. It's coming out here next week or so. You're really going to love it. I hope you love the spot. Good hometown kid. Great values. Just a great young gentleman, and so excited to be doing our next TV commercial. If you've seen some of our spots out there, like, share, and follow. Show us some love. A lot of work going in behind the scenes on that, and excited to do that every year. Have a little fun with that. That is our 60-second ball update. Fall football season is here. It's hard to believe it. It's back. Kids are school, and it's football time in East Tennessee. So we're excited for that. Like and share our social pages, and that's it. Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. So it is that time. It's really, I don't know, I saw a little pro football the other day, but It's kind of hard to believe football. It's kind of snuck up on me, but we're ready. I know everybody's ready. So follow our pages. We got a lot of that going on. Some autographs, some signs, some swag as always. It'll be a fun year. All right, let's get back into the show. I wanted to talk about the Knox County zoning. If it carried over from the first part of the show, you can kind of take a snap at what they're doing on zoning. We're talking about farmland, agricultural zoning specifically. So on that zoning in Knox County, that particular land is called ag. Well, the two options that the planning are looking at moving to is agricultural preservation zoning district or agricultural rural zoning district. And what it does, it locks the land in strict agricultural zoning district. The importance on this, and you're going to need to do some research on your own, but the time was ticking pretty quick. So the time this gets out there, we got to August 31st to do something there and reach out to the planning department. So one of the biggest concerns on the zoning is that it may not automatically allow every agricultural activity that is permitted to allow today's agricultural zoning. Livestock, operations, commercial greenhouse, tourism, agritourism, related needs, things like that. So a current legal use could generally continue as a legal non-conforming use, but expanded, rebuilding after major damage or changing another use could be more complicated. Most importantly, when we're looking forward on this zoning, it's so important that to know that they're not taking agricultural land or immediately stopping farming, but they are proposing to change the old agricultural district with more specific zones. So rural residential serving as the default. The important question is whether you want to preserve the residential development flexibility or prioritize long-term agricultural protection. And those are things you need to look at and make sure that you check. We do have until August 31st, 2026 to submit comments or opt in a request. So that's important. Let's see if there's what else we got. You can go to the website and look up their parcel on the Draft 2 zoning map. You also can compare the proposed zoning with how many property is currently used and how you may want to use it later if you plan to sell it. Don't automatically select AR or RP just because the land is agricultural. Those classifications offer stronger rural protections, but most importantly, if you're thinking about selling it, may reduce future development flexibility and can affect market value. So this stuff is really, really news, kind of hot off the press. I'm not your expert on it. I would reach out to the Knox County Planning, Zoning. When in doubt, reach out to your legal counsel. You really need to look at this and see how this could affect your property if you're thinking of selling. Not really sure what my thoughts are on this. I think we're moving to, as you could see across the whole county, we're growing at rapid pace. A lot of the farmland's being sold. Some of our rural areas, it's great, but I think you're seeing that the stage is being set, that some of those ages where they're agricultural, if they stayed in those zones, a lot of people aren't changing out of those zones. So that permits limited growth. So I think you're seeing the groundwork for a lot of these areas that we're running out of land, out of space. So these certain changes could affect your parcel. So what could be not built on for a subdivision, let's say EV example, say I could build a subdivision, but if it's zoned ag, maybe we can't, we have to change the zoning, or there's certain restrictions that require with this ag zoning. Now, by changing these zonings, the restrictions are lessened, which allows for more growth. So it makes it challenging because we want to protect our farmland, and some of these properties have been out there for a long time, but the growth is inevitable. You see the dollar signs, you see the money, the development, the tax. It's just coming. To what degree, we don't know, but it's important. Check if you have land, if you're zoned agricultural, make sure you check into that. We got August 31st. It's an important deadline. Do a little more research, do a little investigation there. We'll throw a link on our website as well if you want to check that out, and go to Knox County Planning as well at the bottom of the show. You'll see our link at the bottom. So if you're catching on social media, you'll see a link that will make it very easy for you. So that's what we got at Knox County Planning. Talked about condos. Let's talk about the housing market. Home price growth has slowed down a little bit. That may be changing. We're seeing that across the U.S., but it has not stopped. I think one of the biggest things across East Tennessee is we're seeing fewer markets with less declining markets. And so we're pretty healthy in our area. And across the U.S., fewer and fewer markets are seeing price declines. You know, on average, we have 300 of the largest housing markets had falling prices as the middle of last year, and we're only seeing 23% this year with a change in the housing market. I think in our area, one of the most important things to think about is what? Months of supply. I think you look at the housing market and where we're at, what's going on. You know, if the supply is small, the chances of everybody, the news is big on doom and gloom, but we're not doom and gloom. I mean, the rates are what they are. And a lot of people that between 6 and 7% rate, although it's not what we want to see, it's still a good rate over the past 30, 40 years. So 6%, low 6% is always great. Our opportunity or supply of inventory is only about a 4-month supply of inventory. It's really low. A normal market is 6 months of inventory. So as long as we have lower supply of inventory, regardless of the rates to a certain degree, we're still going to be in a healthy market. So I don't expect a collapse, but we are seeing days on the market a little bit longer. Pricing is important. Realistically, I was talking to my wife the other day, and she's pretty straightforward. She said, Ryan, a lot of times in the housing market, we're not wanting to hear the truth of where we're at, and we're expecting last year prices. And so I think it's hard to see that, but understanding the market and having a great agent on your side to help you through all this is most important. Hope you've enjoyed our show. Love spending time with you every weekend. Look forward to seeing you back next weekend. Take care.